Hello everyone, welcome to Pygenius Hub. If you are preparing for interviews and looking for most commonly asked question in Python, then you are in right place. In this series, I will break down the top interview questions and explain the concept in simple way. So make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's get started. In this session, we'll discuss most commonly asked question whenever any fresher or experienced people going to attend any kind of interview. Then this question is the first question, that is, what is the difference between list and tuple? In this slide, I have listed out what is the main difference between list and tuple. First difference is that list is a mutable data structure in Python and tuple is an immutable data structure in Python. Means once the list is created, we are going to change the element of the list. But once the tuple is created, we are not going to change any elements because of this immutable nature. And this list is created with the square brackets and this tuple is created with the parenthesis. In coming to performance wise, list is slower because of this mutable nature and the tuple is more faster. And it coming to the memory usage, list takes more memory, tuple take only less memory. And this list is mutable, so we can perform different kind of operations, like we can add the element, we can delete the element, or we can modify that element as well. But in tuple we cannot do all these operations. And coming to the use case, when the data is not going to modify, at that time we can use list, and when the data is remain constant, at that time we can use the tuple. For example, keys in the dictionaries. Next question is, what is decorator? Decorator is a special function that modifies behavior of another function, but it is not going to change that original code of that particular function. And basically these decorators are used in authentication or logging, and in many cases we will use this decorator. And this decorator is applied with the syntax at decorator name. Here in this slide you can see the example for the decorator as well. So whenever the interviewer will ask what is decorator, you can just give the definition and you can explain with the example whatever in the slide the example is mentioned. Another method for creating the copy object, that is deep copy. Deep copy creates completely independent copy, means it including all the nested objects. So whatever the changes are made in the copy, it will not affect the original object as well. In this example you can see original is the original list and deep copied is the deep copy object we can say, and this deep copy is done by using the deep copy model. So now we are going to change this at the position of 0, that is 0 of 0 of that deep copied into the 100. So after printing the original list and the deep copied list, you can see the original list is remain constant and the deep copied will changes from 0 to 100, because by using this deep copy it will create completely the independent copy of that original list. Next question is very basic, and this we can say it is a tricky question for experienced people and for beginners as well. That is Python is an interpreted language or compiled language? Most of the candidate will answer the Python is an interpreted language, because Python code is executed line by line. When the Python script is executed, there is no any intermediate step, we can say like a compilation step, how we can see in other languages, for example C or Java. So most of the candidate will say that is Python is interpreted language, but in reality Python is both interpreted language as well as the compiled language, because when the Python script is executed, first it will follow the compilation step. This is hidden step we can say, means whenever we are running .py file that converted into the bytecode, that is .pyc file, then automatically it will happen. So we can say this is a hidden step. The next step is interpretation step. Means here whatever the bytecode is there, that is executed by the Python virtual machine, which interprets and run the code. So Python is not purely interpreted language like JavaScript, but it is not purely compiled language like Java or C. Next question is, what are the benefits of Python? Why this Python is most popular? First thing is, Python is following very basic syntax or a simple syntax we can say, that is indentation. It is not going to use any curly braces for differentiating the code blocks. So because of this one, we can write the Python code in very fewer lines compared to other languages like C, C++ or Java. And this Python is have like very large number of the built-in modules, and it is having the lot of libraries as well. Just we have to import those libraries and we can use in our Python code. And most important feature of this Python is that Python is dynamically typed language. Means once we define any variable names, just we are going to define the variable names. We are not going to define any the data type of that particular variable which is holding any data. And Python is object oriented language, means it supports the OOPS concept. Next question is, what is list comprehension in Python? List comprehension is like concise way to create the list in single line of code based on the existing iterable. Because of this nature, we will write or we will create the list like in more readable way and efficient way. Here in this slide you can see the syntax, that is just we are iterating the for loop based on the condition, and we are printing or we are considering the iterable item as the element in the new list. For example, the number is the list, so it is consisting 1 2 3 4 5 as the elements. So in the next step we are creating the list comprehension, like we are creating the list with the square of that particular elements in the numbers by using the list comprehension. So here you can see the output of this program is like 1 4 9 16 and 25. Next question is most tricky and confusing question, because many of the guys will confuse with the lambda function as well as the list comprehension as well. So now we are going to discuss what is the lambda function. Lambda function is like an anonymous function. Why we call this lambda function as an anonymous function? Because it is here in this, whenever we are writing the lambda function, we are not going to pass any function name with the help of the def keyword, like how we used to write in normal functions in Python. Just we have to pass the parameters and the logic expression. That too, all these things are going to happen in single line of code. For example, in this example you can see the adding two numbers, that is 3 and 5, using the lambda function. Like lambda a comma b means here we are taking the a and b as the parameters, and we are a plus b is the expression. So here add underscore lambda is act as a variable, means we have to pass the parameter values as well, like 3 and 5 to that particular variable. That means after printing this lambda, whatever the element is holding this value, that is 8, it will print. Next question is how the exception is handled in Python. Basically the exception is handled in Python by using the three main blocks, that is try block, except block and finally block. In this slide you can ask like what is the role of the else block as well. In some scenarios we will use the else block as well based on the requirement. So try block is contain the code that which can throw an exception, and this exception is handled by the except block. And else block means it will run when there is no any exceptions are raised by the try block. And finally block means this block have to be execute every time regardless of the exception is occurred or not. So mainly this finally block is used for closing the files or for cleaning up the resources. At that time this finally block is used. Continuation of the next question, the interview will ask like explain the exception handling with the example. In that case you can say like again the exception is handled with the help of the try, except, else and finally blocks, and what these blocks will contain you can explain in shorthand. Then later you can take an example, like for example in this session, like in this slide we can say like considering the zero division error handling. So in the try block we are going to execute, that is we are trying to divide the 2 by 10. So of course it will not throw an exception. So up in the like output you can see the whatever the code is there in the else block, that is going to execute, and the final block is going to execute because the final block is going to execute regardless of the exception is occurs or not. Next question is most important question for experienced people, that is what is pickling. Pickling means whatever the Python object is there, converted that one into the string representation and dump into the file with the help of the dump module. We can see the example for this pickling, how it is going to happen. See, you can see that data is the dictionary and we are going to open this file, that is data.pkl in write binary mode, and just we are going to pickling, we are going to perform the pickling process, and just we are printing the output of that one. What is unpickling? Unpickling is a process of retrieving the original Python object from the string representation. We can do this unpickling with the help of load module. Now we'll see the example for this unpickling. Again we are going to open this data.pkl in read binary mode, and we have to perform unpickling with the help of the load module. Then just we are printing the value. Next question, what is the difference between set and dictionary? Again the set and dictionary both are the most important built-in data structures in Python, and now we are going to see what is the main difference between these two. Set is a collection of unique elements, dictionary is a collection of unique elements, that is unique keys, but values are stored in key value pairs. And whatever the elements are there in set, that is stored in unordered. Because of this nature we are not going to perform any indexing on set. And dictionary is a ordered collection of key value pairs, we can say. Set will not allow any duplicate values, but dictionary can allow, but the keys must be unique, values can repeat. And set is mutable, means we are going to do the operations, and like for example adding, deleting elements from the set. Dictionary also support the modification of the elements in the dictionary. You can see the example as well, like how the set is represented and how the dictionary is represented. Now this question I can say it is most important question as well as, but it is most uncommon question I can say. That is, what is PEP8? PEP8 is nothing but it is a Python enhancement proposal. It is a basically official document providing the guidelines for the developers, like how the Python code can be write in more readable and efficient way. Why it is important? Because by following the guidelines makes the code easier to read for the others as well, and well structured code is easier to debug and update for the other developers as well. That's it for today's Python interview questions. I hope this video is helpful for clearing at least the basic interview level. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up and subscribe for more interview preparation questions, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. If you got any specific Python questions or interview questions, drop them in comments below. I would love to hear from you guys as well and might cover them in future videos as well. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next one video. Keep coding, keep learning. Bye bye guys.